Hey, hello everyone. Am I audible? Could you please confirm in the chat
Yeah,
box?
yeah, yeah, Afroz. Good afternoon.
Yes, good afternoon. Welcome all of you, Marcin, Yogesh, Vishu, and Krishna. So let's wait for a couple of minutes. Let's see if anyone else joins this meet, and then we'll get started.
Sure, Afroz, and happy Sankranti, Afroz.
Yeah, likewise, same to you. Vishu, can you please follow up in the group once, if possible? Just that, if anyone else is missing, they'll be joining the call. All right, guys, I think we have seven participants and I think we can get started. Just a moment, guys.
Yes,
Yeah, is the screen visible?
yes.
Yes, Afroz.
All right. So welcome everyone. Uh, this session is going to be for about 1 hour. So at the end of the session, I am pretty sure you will be, walking out with a lot knowing about programmatic advertising. I have built this presentation in such a way that you get it from the basic and in such a way that you don't forget anything when it comes to programmatic, how it started and everything. So, okay, so this is me. I'm a programmatic consultant. I started my career with Amazon, and till now I've worked with various companies ranging from Google. I was part of Accenture. So recently, the last client that I worked with was for a programmatic channel that was Marvel, and similarly, there were multiple clients that I've worked with. So with years of experience, I've built this exposure into the programmatic world. And now that I want to give it to someone else, because while I was getting started, I did not have a base. I couldn't, find resources to learn this online. So that's it. I don't want to waste a lot of time on this slide. Let's quickly get started. So if you understand if you want to understand programmatic, then you must know how advertising used to work earlier. All right. So this is how it used to happen. In a normal scenario, if there's a buyer and seller, the communication between them happens manually, right? That is the most manual approach that we can think of. A client and a advertiser or buyer, they communicate and then try to set up a deal. That's what would happen. And until year 1993, this is what happened. Like uh, the clients, the sellers. Let's take an example of Times of India, just for reference, or any blog for that matter. So if they wanted to, buy some inventory and then advertise their own product, then they would manually reach out to an advertiser, or like Swiggy or Uber. All right. Here you can see two people talking to each other. One can be a representative of Times of India and one can be from Swiggy or Uber. All right. This is how it used to happen. One is client and the other one is advertiser. The clients or publishers have lots of traffic coming into their website. All right. They can be any blog or a famous news website like CNN, CBSN. So that's how it is. So they have a lot of inventory to sell, and advertisers reach out to them to buy that inventory. I hope that is pretty much clear. And then, since it was very much manual, what happened was in 1993, there was an ad network created. That was the first ad network, and this is where the programmatic, buying started. People think that programmatic started these in the last couple of years or in the last 4 to 5 years, but that's not right. It started in 1993. Uh, of course, it has evolved over the years. Right now, it's in the best possible state. But then, the beginning was in 1993. Ad.com was the first ad network that launched it. So what it did was, instead of uh, making it manual, it automated the process. Now the advertisers like Swiggy or Uber can automatically advertise their inventory on any blog or a famous publisher, all right? Like Times of India for that matter. So this is what it is. So what is programmatic? So in simple terms, I don't want to complicate it. Uh, when it comes to definitions, you can just Google it, but then I don't want to stick to that. I want to make this so clear and precise and easy as well. So programmatic advertising is automating the media buying process. That's it. Automating the media buying process. So earlier it used to be manual, now it is automatic. All right. Now Swiggy can directly reach out to uh, Times of India to advertise. And similarly, Google AdSense started in 2003. These were the platforms they started. On the publisher end, they used AdSense. You must have heard this, Google AdSense. It's a pretty popular platform for publishers to monetize their content. All right. So this was the platform that they use at the publishers end, and on the advertisers end, Google AdWords was used. All right. This is how it got started. Major impact had started to happen when Google got started in this. All right. Is everyone following? Like, just wanted to take a confirmation. If possible, just comment in the chat box.
Yes, yes, we are here. No worries.
All right, perfect. All right, then let's move ahead. So similarly, instead of one ad network, there were multiple ad networks that were built. Like Google has built its own ad network. So will other people stop it there? No, right? People from all over the world, like people who are interested in this, they would of course build their own ad network who have connects with the publishers and advertisers. They would build their own ad network. So this is what happened. A lot of ad networks were built. All right. Like Google has AdWords at the advertiser level, AdSense at the publisher level, and there was an ad network that was created to bridge a gap. But then there were a lot of ad networks created, and the problem was advertisers who are relying on Google Ads, let's say people are using Times of India is using Google Ads to advertise their product. So if they're using Google Ads, they could only advertise on Google AdSense platform, which was built by Google. Did you get it? Like here we have Google AdWords. If you advertise it from here, you could only reach to Google AdSense publishers. With other publishers, you wouldn't be able to reach out to them or advertise to them on their inventory. So this was a problem. And then what happened is ad exchanges came into the picture. So uh, if you try to understand what an ad exchange is, it's just a marketplace wherein multiple ad networks, multiple publishers and advertisers get involved or are situated. Like let's take an example of Amazon. You have a lot of uh, suppliers and then buyers as well, right? In one platform, everyone is involved. So similarly, in an ad exchange, multiple ad networks like Google AdSense and Google AdWords, everything was bridged together so that buying and selling would be easier. Let's say that there's a advertising network which is propeller ads. Like right till now we were discussing about Google Ads, but then what if an advertiser is using propeller ads? Can he access Google's inventory? No, until before ad exchange he couldn't. But then once ad exchange came into the picture, any any advertising platform can access any inventory throughout the world. That is what an ad exchange is. All right. Any inventory can be accessed through an ad exchange. And when it comes to an ad exchange, also there are multiple ad exchanges. There's not only one ad exchange, there are multiple. One is built by Google, which is called as Google Ad Exchange. So this will give you an idea of what an ad exchange interface looks like. So since this is Google AdX, you have Google AdWords interface, which has multiple advertisers which are advertising using AdWords. All right. And then you also have AdSense websites linked. All right. And similarly, what this does is this is an ad exchange. So this will get in touch with the other ad exchanges. You can also call them as networks. So these are other ad exchanges. So now, if a publisher, let's say that Swiggy or Uber wants to advertise throughout the internet, let's take an example that their website one. So they would reach out you utilizing ad exchange. They can either advertise on AdSense websites, which is Google owned, or other network of inventory, which is throughout the world. Like whatever inventory is available, they can bid on it, they can advertise on it. So this really simplified the whole process and automated it. And now to understand how things happen inside an ad exchange, what goes around, we have to discuss about the demand side platform and supply side platform. Uh, Simply to give you an understanding, let me show you this picture. So if you see this on the left side, you have buy side, and on the right side, you have sell side. And the customer or the browser is over here. All right. He visits a website which is Times of India or any blog for that matter, any popular blog for that matter. Either he's consuming the content on YouTube as well. So that he visits the website, and then what would happen? The ad network which they're using, all right, to advertise. Let's say in this case they are using DV360. So DV360 server would be here. All right. And the ad network that they have is Google Ads, right? DV360's ad network is Google Ads. So they would reach out to the DSP. Uh, they would reach out to the DSP and then using RTB, the advertising would happen. To give you a better understanding of this, let me draw it over here so that it becomes easy. So the consumer has visited the website. Let me some website which is something, and then what would happen? An SSP would be checking where the ad request came from. All right. So an SSP's example would be Google Ad Manager. Google Ad Manager, all right. So they would again reach out to the buy side, which is DV360's inventory. So they would see what inventory is available and what they can uh, show to this ultimate customer. The ultimate goal is to show an ad to the consumer who is watching, utilizing his phone or browsing internet through his desktop. So ultimately, we have to advertise an ad over there. So based on the inventory available, here on the sell side, you would have Times of India, and then this consumer, let's say that he is interested in food, is interested in food. All right. I'm pretty bad at drawing this. Excuse me for that. So this consumer, he's interested in food. All right. He's browsing Times of India. He's reading an article which is related to food. So what this would do, SSP would do is identify that he's interested in food. All right. And then reach out to the buy side, which is DV360. This is DV360. This is DV. And this is Google Ad Manager. Sell side is Google Ad Manager, and then buy side is DV. All right. So they would identify that he's interested in food, and inside DV360 there would be a network of advertisers, right? Multiple advertisers would be there. One would be it can be Swiggy, Uber, anything. Multiple advertisers, but based on its interest, on the customer's interest that he's interested in food, uh, the Swiggy's ad would be chosen. All right. And then the Swiggy's ad would be ultimately shown to the consumer. This is how it goes. This was to give you an idea. So, what is a demand side platform? It's a platform for advertisers. That's all you have to understand. It's a platform for advertisers like Swiggy, Uber, or any advertisers for that matter. But these advertisers cannot be small advertisers. They must have a huge advertising budget. Only then they can use the TV360. If they have low advertising budgets, they can stick to Google Ads or Google AdWords. But then if they have huge budgets, they must stick to DV360. And another example of a DSP is the trade desk. All right, just to simplify this. And then on the supply side, you have the platform which is helpful for publishers. All right, Times of India isn't publisher. They have a lot of traffic coming in every year, every day. Uh, Let me open it up, the website of Times of India. If you notice here, this is an ad slot. If you notice it, it says advertisement. So this is an ad slot. So the ad would come up here. So similarly, they have huge content, right? They have content ranging from a lot of blog articles which are from different niches. So ads, the inventory is huge. So this inventory, they want to sell it. To sell it, first, the basic thing that they can do is install AdSense on the website. But using AdSense, they can only reach to Google Ads, advert advertisers, people who are utilizing only Google Ads. But if they want to show an ad of different advertisers from throughout the world and increase their ad monetization, then they use an SSP, which is an example is Google Ad Manager. All right. Instead of AdSense, they rely on Google Ad Manager. That's about it. So this is supply side platform. Using this, you can literally sell the inventory to everyone throughout the market and not confined to Google's own websites. And when it comes to real-time bidding, uh, the selling and buying of the impressions between SSP and DSP, the publishers and advertisers, will happen in real time. All right. So which is called as real-time bidding. It happens in milliseconds. I'll show you how it happens. Let me open the inspect element on Times of India website, and then I'll show you how it would happen in milliseconds. We'll not even uh, have a second to give. Within a millisecond, it would show an ad. All right. So what I'll do is I'll go to network and then over here search for ads question mark. This will give you all the ad requests that are coming up on this website, Times of India. Okay, let it load up. I just refreshed it. If you can see, there are two ad requests, three now, which are coming up. And let me show you the time that it takes. See, the ad has already appeared. So if I hover over this, if you notice, the request from this slot was sent. All right. And the request to send a request, it took 5.88 milliseconds. And then it waited for 5 to 2 milliseconds for a response to be received. And then they once it reached out to DV360, it returned an ad within 17 milliseconds. All right. So this is how quick it happens in the background. This is real-time bidding. All right. It request was sent to DV360, and then in DV360 there would be multiple advertisers that are willing to show their ad over here, right? So a bid auction happened in between them, and the highest bidder would win. So that particular bidder or advertiser's ad would be shown here. That is real-time bidding. So if you look at the ecosystem of the agencies, demand side platforms, and SSPs, you can have a look here. So there are a lot of demand side platforms. One of them is Google DV360, which comes under Google Marketing Platform, as I've shown you here. And you have Trade Desk, Xandr, Verizon as well. There are a lot many, but then the major part which is majorly used UI is DV360 because Google has its own audience, right? A major advantage that Google has is they have their own audiences. So once if Uber or Swiggy wants to advertise, they have inventory audience available, which they know that who that audience could be. They could be uh, interested in food or not. They would have an idea. Google would have an idea. So if you're using the Trade Desk as a DV360 demand side platform, then you would have to pay it additionally for advertising using an audience. But when it comes to DV360, you don't have to, because DV360 is Google's product, so it has the audiences already included. All right, which is why DV360 accounts to 90% of the usage on the throughout the internet. And on the supply side, you have Google Ad Manager over here. If you can see, this is Google Ad Manager. Mm, Websites like Times of India, like I just showed you, these people, instead of using AdSense, they use Google Ad Manager. All right. Instead of relying on Google AdSense, they use Google Ad Manager. If you use AdSense, then you're only confined to Google's network of advertisers. But if you're using Google Ad Manager, this is an ad exchange basically. So what this would do, this would give availability of the networks and advertisers throughout the world. All right. So this is how it is. And if you can see, these are the publishers. There's Dailymotion, there's ESPN, CBS, all right, YouTube as well. These are all the publishers which provide the content. And to again further give you an example, okay, before going to this, let me show you a breakdown of how ad slots load up on the Times of India website. I have a plugin installed over here, which is Ad Inspector. Let me refresh the page. This would show what ads are getting, loading coming up from, like how many ad slots are there on this particular page, and which creative is selected. Everything would be shown over here. Let it load. And when it comes to page level targeting, you can see this has meta keywords which are present on the website, which will give the advertisers an idea of what the publisher is browsing right now, so that the advertisers, if they want to advertise on websites related to news, they can they this particular ad slot will be selected. So this has come up now. See, there are in total 9 ad slots on this page. Yeah, this one was only one of them, the one which is being shown over here. This is one of them. If you see, since I've installed this plugin, it shows us it in this manner. So they are using Google Ad Manager, and inside Google Ad Manager, this particular creative has one, and this line item has one. We can't access Google Ad Manager, so let me try to see. All right, but we can see which ad is loading up. Let me open it up. So this is the ad that loaded on the top, right? So this was how it got selected. First, the size was mentioned on the page that it's 300 cross 250, and then Ad Google Ad Manager is being used, and Google Ad Manager takes up the request, searches for which advertisers have this 300 cross 250 ad slot, and then goes to DV360. The request would go to DV360, and inside DV360, if this particular advertiser, Rapa Walk, right? That's what the name says. So if they have an ad of 300 cross 250, they would display it over here. And how would this ad win in the backend? So they would win using real-time bidding. So I'll explain you what real-time bidding is now. So the communication between DV360 and Ad Manager, both are Google's products. For them, the buying and selling of inventory happens using real-time bidding. It's nothing but a piece of code which decides which advertiser wins and which advertiser loses. That's all is RTV. And now let's go ahead and see what all types of inventory are available inside DV360. All right. So let's say that DV360, like Swiggy and Uber has inventory. Similarly, times of uh, sorry, not Swiggy and Uber, it's Times of India or any blog. All right, Times of India or any bigger blog similar to this. So let's say an example of CBSN. They also have huge inventory, right? CBSN News also has huge inventory on their website. They have videos coming up, and in between the videos, you notice a lot of ads, right? So these all publishers, they have a lot of inventory. All right. Times of India, to take an example, they might receive uh, requests in lakhs. All right. The requests to showcase ads would be in millions. But let's say uh, that Times of India has a total inventory of only 100 impressions. Let's assume it. And they want to give 20 impressions to Times of India. Sorry, 20 impressions to Swiggy. Swiggy is an advertiser. All right. Uh, but then Swiggy says they need minimum 20 impressions. All right. So they want to give 20 impressions to Swiggy. They have this ad slot, right? Similarly, on some of their ad slots, they want to give out of 100 impressions, they want to give 20 impressions to Swiggy. So Swiggy, this would happen, this agreement would happen, and you call this agreement as programmatic guaranteed. All right. Times of India and Swiggy are discussing manually through emails that they want this inventory for themselves, not for others. So this particular agreement will be called as programmatic guaranteed. And similarly, a preferred deal, like let's say that Times of India is one, but Swiggy is interested in websites related to food blogs, which are huge, big food blogs. All right, let's say this is a big food blog feedspot.com. So they want to use this blog to advertise their ad. Swiggy want to advertise their ad over here. All right. So in that case, what they would do, they can. This is one of the website, but let's say that there are other blogs as well. They want to advertise on. So they would use a preferred deal. All right. A remaining 20 impressions, they'll give it to preferred deal. Like they have 100 impressions. It's their wish, right? If they can give all 100 impressions to one advertiser, or like out of 100 they can give it to someone else as well. Like, so what would happen is the majority of the impressions will be agreed upon with the advertiser directly. All right. So in that case, programmatic guaranteed would be there, and then the advertising would inventory would be for 20 impressions. Swiggy's ad would be shown. All right. And then when it comes to preferred deal, let's say that they have other 20 impressions. Out of 100, 20 are done. Then we have 20 more impressions, which the Swiggy's advertiser